Hello everybody and welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We are starting the process of putting together our food plot, and as you can see here I have got the sprayer out and I am spraying Roundup, killing the weeds in the food plot, and we're going to proceed into disking and getting the seed into the ground so we have a food plot ready for the upcoming deer season. We're going to give her about 2 weeks until we disc this ground up, so we want the Roundup to do its job. So we are off and running. So I'm glad you could join us here on A Sportsman's Life. Luke is going to be frying up some catfish later, and of course we'll visit with Larry. He's going to be down at his property preparing for the upcoming whitetail season as well. So stay tuned, folks. We got a great show for you here on A Sportsman's Life. Disc the soil. Now comes a critical point in making sure that your soil is ready for the seeds that you're going to put in it. You want to do a soil test. So once you've turned the soil, you've got a lot of soil that was underneath now laying on top, and so we're going to get a cup here, we're going to get our soil test kit, and we're going to test this for the pH. We want to know if we need to make any adjustments in pH in this soil. We may have to add pelletized lime or something like that in order to balance the pH, but we want that perfect, so we're going to test it and then figure out what our next steps are. So what I'm going to do is look for just a nice bunch of turned soil, which right under my discs here looks like some good stuff. So we're going to get in there and we're going to get a little grass in there, which isn't going to hurt. Now that we got our soil, let's take her back to camp. Let's test the pH and see if any adjustments are needed. We got our soil test kit, we're ready to go. Okay, we are back at camp and we are ready to do our soil test. Again, this is a very important piece of the puzzle. So if your soil is too acidic, your plants will have a hard time growing. So you want to bring the pH up to a more neutral level. And how we figure out what your soil is again by doing a test. So we've got our test kit, we've got our soil. What we're going to do is we're going to take our little tube and we're going to fill it to the bottom line of this test kit. Too much in there. Okay, there we go. So we've got our soil set to go. We have sandy loam, so we kind of know what our soil is. What we want to do is we want to get a capsule. Got one out of here already, and we're going to put the soil in the tube. We're going to put this capsule with powder in it in the tube as well. I'm going to set it on this cardboard. In case I miss, I can salvage the powder. But you want to break the capsule open and put this in your test vial. Okay, that went in there. Beautiful. Okay, so what we want to do next is there's the top line on there, which is about right there. We're going to fill it with water all the way up to that top line right there. Okay, we're going to shake it vigorously, set that aside. We're going to need this because this is our we'll look at the chart here and tell exactly where we're at. Now last year when I did my soil kit, I was somewhere in about here. I needed to bring it up to neutral, which is green, as you can see. You want to get it to neutral, 7.0. Last year we were probably, I think we were like a 6.0 or 6.5, but we'll see where we're at this year. So looking like milk chocolate right now, but we'll shake it good and we'll put the cap on and we're going to let it sit about a minute. And then we're going to come back and we're going to test or compare that against our chart to find out exactly where we stand on our acidity level. If we're a bit acidic, then we're going to have to run to the store and get some pelletized lime or some powdered lime, whatever we can get, and depending upon how acidic we are, we'll spread that across our food plot and let that work itself into the soil before we seed in about 2 weeks. So it's starting to settle in here. Right now we're looking, from what I can tell, about a 5.0, so that's about, no, I'm sorry, about a 6.0. About a 6.0. We're still acidic, about what we were last year. I'm going to kind of show you this. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you kind of compare the color to the chart. And as you can see, it looks a little bit yellowish, kind of about the 6.0, a little bit acidic. So we're going to have to add some lime to our soil. So what that means is that we are going to head into town. We are going to pick up some lime. And we are going to get some lime put into the soil this weekend. I plan on putting my seed in about 2 weeks, so I want to make sure that I get this lime to work itself in. I know this week they're calling for rain Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which is a good thing. So if I get that lime down, it'll work good into the soil, because now I've got that soil all busted up, and we should be good to go. So food plots are really great to have. You know, once the green starts dying away, the grasses and the plants, and the only thing left growing is your food plot, that's where your animals are going to come. So we're looking forward to that. One last look here. Yeah, we are a 6.0 exactly. So we are acidic, and we definitely need lime, so we're off to the store. Okay, there we go. We are putting down some lime. So we've calculated out what I needed to bring it up to about neutral, and so that's what we got. We've got 8 bags of lime, and pelletized lime. It's easier in a spreader. You can buy lime that's powdered, but you can't spread it. It's really difficult. So get the pelletized. It works much better. And you basically want to cover based on what your pH tells you, and of course in the information I have on my test kit, it tells me exactly what I need to add. And so you look in the back of the bag, it also tells you on the pelletized lime how much you need to bring up, you know, 1% of pH. So anyway, we are going to finish up here, and got 2 other food plots to hit yet here, but the smaller ones. But we're going to get this done, and we'll be ready to seed in about I'd say 2 weeks. So stay tuned, folks. Well, welcome back, folks. We are here at the food plot. 2 weeks ago, we put down our pelletized lime after disking all of the soil. We've had some good rain, probably maybe 1.5 inches rain, which has soaked that pelletized lime into the soil. I did another test, and we are just right at 7 pH. So that's perfect. 7 is neutral. So that's right about where we want to be. If we were a little higher than that, it wouldn't be a bad thing, but we are good. So we've put on our drag harrow. We've removed our disc. And this little drag harrow is perfect for preparing to seed. So we're going to get the seed in this weekend. So what we want to do is we want to get this harrow set up. We'll drag the ground with this harrow, and you can see it's got little prongs on it here, and these prongs will dig up the ground. Now I've got it flipped over. When I drag it, like from camp, I drug it out here, and so I didn't want to tear up all the roads, so you flip it over. So I'll flip it over again, and we'll start harrowing in here, and just kind of leveling this ground. And what it'll do is leave nice little grooves for our seeds, because our seeds don't want to go much more than 1/4 inch into the ground. We're going to make sure that they're just lightly covered. So we'll flip it over, we'll drag, we'll drop the seed, we'll flip it over again, and then we'll run it like this to cover the seed. So stick with me, folks. We're going to get all this done. This is how you do it, folks. I'm telling you, if you want big deer and more deer in your hunting areas, you got to put food plots in. So I'm gonna flip this thing over. Let's get going here. All right, time to get to work. our drag harrow, and we've basically raked up, if you will, the food plot. And as you can see, these grooves in the ground is really all you need to get seed to grow. You do not want that seed to be any more than 1/4 inch under dirt. So just a dusting of soil on top really is all it needs to get started. All right, so here we have our seed. This is Evolved Harvest seed. The nice thing about this seed is it's got triticale, oats, winter peas, annual clover, chicory, turnips, and radishes in here. So it's a variety. So we've got plenty to do this food plot and 2 small food plots that we have. And then we also have some buck forage oats here as well. We're going to add a little oats in there as well. So we're going to get, what we've got here is, this is just a little handheld power seeder that's really quite handy. So just fill this guy up and walk around, and it'll drop seed perfectly on the ground. We'll flip that drag harrow back over so the spikes are sticking up, and then we'll run over this one more time to bury that seed, and then we'll be on to the next food plot. So it's really that simple. Let's get seeding. Just to give you an idea of what this looks like, that's what the seed looks like there, folks. Obviously you can see there's a bunch of different seed in there, so we're going to get this put into the ground and get our food plot started. So here we go. Alright folks, that should do it for the big food plot. Now we've got 2 more smaller food plots to do, and then we'll get this drag harrow, flip it over. We're going to run it over this, and we're set to go. We can expect this to germinate in 7 to 10 days, and with that little fertilization, they will take off, and fully expecting to see lots of deer in here this year. We are about a couple weeks out from the bow season, so I want to get this thing in and get things settled in, and by toward the end of the bow season is when I really like to focus on my deer hunting, because it gets close to the rut and you see a lot of activity. So a food plot is a great place to see activity. You'll have does coming in here, and guess who follows? The big bucks. So great stuff to do, lots of fun. It's a little bit of work, but you know what? We have fun here in our Sportsman's life doing stuff like this, and I know it pays off, so stay tuned. I know we're going to have a bunch of hunts coming up here right from this very food plot, so you can expect to see some of those here shortly. So anyway, we're back to work. I've got 2 more food plots to do, and I got to get this dragged. I got to flip that harrow over again and get this done and move on. Got a few hours yet for dark, and we'll call it a weekend. So we'll be back here in a Sportsman's Life. All right, our food plot is in. All we need is rain. We have disked, we have tested our soil, we have limed, we have harrowed, we have seeded, and we have top harrowed. In other words, we've lightly turned the soil on top, and our food plot is in and looking good. Next time we come back, we'll probably be sitting in the box blind behind me here and hunting deer. So looking forward to another exciting season here in a Sportsman's Life.
Well folks, we are outside and we're going to have a quick lunch of blackened catfish. You know, quite often we talk about, or I talk about, frying catfish. Well, I'll tell you what, blackened catfish is awfully good. Now, this skillet, believe it or not, is not smoking hot. It's not white. It's actually real hot, but it's not white hot. And the way I blacken them, I use, let me hold some of this up for you here. Actually, it's Cabela's. You probably have a little trouble in this light seeing this, but it's Cabela's blackening. You can get a big shaker of this for not much money, instead of the little shakers of the more conventional blackening seasoning. But Catfish lends itself very well to frying. We all know that, but there's no reason not to blacken a little catfish every now and then. And that's what I thought I'd do. Had some fillets here from Channel Cat that I caught down at Lake Tawakoni, actually with Tony Pennybaker not too long ago. So let's blacken these. I'll give you a look at them as they get a little bit more crispy. Okay, let's give them a turn here. I turned one of them already. Oh yeah. We'll let these crisp up a little bit. You might see most of that olive oil. There's a little slant to that skillet. A little trick I've got here. We're going to pull them out away from some of that that olive oil. Let them brown up a little bit. And then who knows, we may fry some too. It'd be a shame to got a whole bunch more fillets and a couple of folks coming around here in just a little bit to eat with me. So we may fry up some catfish too. I wish you could smell this blackened catfish. Well, our catfish fillets are definitely getting here. There's one in there that I had that you didn't see that was actually being covered by another little fillet. Yeah, these are just, this one here especially is just right. You have to take them out when they look just right. And this little one is just right. Oh yeah. That's going to be some good eating, folks. This little fillet is ready. We'll put it up here. Big one. Let's give this bigger, thicker one just a little more time in that hot olive oil. But you know, folks, there's a lot of ways you can cook fish, even catfish. Now, striper lends itself well to blackening, but catfish does too. I want you to try this sometime. We're not going to exclude frying some little catfish. I've got quite a few fillets left. We're going to put a little more oil in this, and then we'll drop in some on with some cornmeal and fry some too. What do you say? Now then, I'm going to give you a little trick here, a little something special here. Let's put some regular old cooking oil in here with this. This olive oil has the blackening seasoning infused in it, if you will. We'll get that oil hot with the residue there from our blackening, and I think we're going to have us some really, really seasoned fried catfish fillets. So let's let the oil get hot and we'll drop some more fillets in with the batter. Okay, my friends, before you think I've gone totally health food on you, let's do this number right here. Let's drop in some well-seasoned catfish fillets, cooked in that blackening seasoning with the olive oil with some regular old canola oil. Now, it would have been a shame just to have strictly blackened fish, wouldn't it? Okay, let's get these cooking. And we'll pull them out of there when they're really crispy. And that with the, these right here with the blackened fish, I think will make old Luke a pretty good meal. We'll take a look at them here in just a bit. Well, folks, I've already taken out quite a few of these. This is catfish like you're probably more accustomed to seeing us cook here on A Sportsman's Life. It's good old fried catfish. It would have been a shame not to have this to go with our blackened fish. So I'll tell you what let's do, folks. Let's plate all this up and let's take a look at some blackened fish and some fried fish cooked in that blackening seasoning. Kind of a different twist today. So here we go. Well, folks, just a little bit different way to cook catfish. You might note I have a little bit more fried catfish than I do blackened here, but I did sample the blackened catfish. Very good. And if you also look close at this fried fish, it's a little darker in color than what we usually do when we fry catfish. That's because of the blackening seasoning. You know, I just left all that in the skillet after blackening these fillets, and that gave a little bit spicier taste to it too. We've got a great show lined up for you, folks. Let's jump right in. I just thought this might whet your appetite. You might have time to go to the refrigerator and get you a little snack. I wish I could hand you some of this to eat.
Hear me breathing heavily. It's because it is a hot rascal this morning. It's July. I keep saying July. I guess I want to go back to a little bit earlier time. But it's actually the 1st of September. And with me, that's when my hunting season really kind of starts in terms of putting out, the different TRHP outdoor scent, and One of the things we're going to use this morning is a curiosity scent, kind of in the center of a thicket, if you will. This is a piece of property that I lease. It's actually some property that I hunted when I was just a little kid, and I finally was able to lease it from the adjoining landowner, and the property adjoins ours. And so I'm really interested to see what's here. I'll set up a trail camera after a couple of days and kind of see what's coming in as well too. I would have done so this morning. Unfortunately, got in a hurry to leave really early this morning, and by the time I got here, I remembered I didn't bring the trail camera that I was going to set up here, so that's going to give me an excuse to come back another time, which I'm always looking for excuses to come out to my place anyway. But going to use a curiosity scent this morning for starters. And as we get a little bit farther into the month of September, I'll start setting up some mock scrapes as well too. This country is such that I have seen bucks chasing does by the first weekend of October. So first time I see a scrape, and even before, I'm going to start setting up some mock scrapes back in this thicket here and along the edge. This property is about 130 acres altogether. It's mostly brush, mostly yaupon, mostly cedar, oak. Got a few oak trees that are bearing acorns this year, so we're going to try to set up on those sometime come a little bit later on. The property's going to pretty much be hunted by my son-in-law, Lance Tigert, and my daughter Teresa, mother-daughter, and her friend may come out as well too. We'll see how the season progresses. I want to take 1 or 2 bucks off this property this year, and we left a lot of really good bucks in this area last year. So, meaning good bucks, meaning they were almost legal. So I'm hoping that this year they will be legal, and we'll be able to take those or take some of those. Let's head back off in there, and we'll find a spot close to where I'm going to set up a stand, that a ground blind, if you will, that we'll set up this curiosity scent, and then one of the cans as well too, and we'll start seeing what's coming in. I'm laughing because it is so blooming hot. You know, the thing about all this is you got to start setting up early, and basically that's what I wanted to do. Had hoped to do it a little bit earlier, frankly, and just didn't work out. So here's the drill. 1st of September, normally I would have done this in middle of August, because as I mentioned, September 1 is usually the start of the hunting season as far as I'm concerned. And even though you don't get out to hunt with a firearm or a bow or pistol or shotgun, when it comes to deer, you know, it's still hunting. I'm setting up areas where I want to hunt. Came in here this past winter, to look this area over, and I'll show it to you here in just a little bit. But this is an opening, kind of a natural opening right in the middle of a very dense thicket. And walking through here, we'll look for deer beds in just a little bit. But I got a feeling these deer bed in here quite a bit. So I'm going to set up a ground blind. Going to set up a ground blind right back there, just about on the edge of what you can see as far as the camera is concerned. But also, as I mentioned, we're going to start putting out curiosity scent. Now, the curiosity scent by TRHP Outdoors. Actually, if you look real close, you can see they've got my picture on it, which I'm very honored that they did. But these are extremely good scents. I played around with them a lot in the past, and believe me, if they weren't good scents, I would not be putting my name on it, and certainly not my photograph. Then also, we've got the can right here, and the can I'm going to put just past here, because this is an area that later on I'll probably try to set up a false scrape as well too, or a mock scrape here before too very long. So let's spray some of this out, put some out, and I'll tell you how to do things here in just a little bit. The curiosity scent that TRHP Outdoors puts out has got a combination of several different things, and if you look real close, you can see there's actually a hanger, almost a little clear hanger, so it's going to look like that can is suspended up in the midair. So what you want to do when you get there is you want to pop the top. This is what controls what comes out. If you look closely, it's almost like if you ever open a can of sardines in the years past, you notice there's a little bit of an opener on top, and basically what we're going to do is just pull that open. And there's a wick in there that contains the curiosity scents. So we're going to place this back on top, just snap it on top. Wish you could smell this stuff. It doesn't really have a bad odor at all. It's kind of an interesting odor. And I'm going to open this thing all the way, and then I'm going to get ready to hang it. as I've shown you, we've opened this a while ago and pulled the tab off of it, so it's an open can with the wick underneath with a scent. And it's a very special type of wick. It's not made out of cotton. It'll last a long time, and the beauty of it is you can refresh it. So come back in and it's not water soluble. So the scents have an oily base to them. So even if it rains and the thing fills up with water, you're still dispensing scent. And you can determine how much scent you want to release simply by moving this. We'll do it from this way so you can see. As I move this little notch this way, you can see it opens up the can. Now to start with, for the first few days, I'm going to leave it wide open. Basically what I want to do is just kind of hang this right here. And like I said, it will look, well, let's try it up here a little bit better. I think it'll hold it a little bit better. Today we've got kind of an easterly breeze, but normally we have a southeasterly, and believe me, I can smell the scent from here that's being put in. I'm going to spray a little bit around as well too. We're going to put it down below it. I've got the scent can just above, so right here is where I want to try to spray. There's a little yopon there, and I'm going to spray a little on the yopon. Spray a little on the cedar bark as well too. We'll see what happens. We'll come back here. We'll set up a trail camera right over here and see what comes here. Let's go check this area out a little bit farther before we move on. As I mentioned earlier, this is a little natural opening right here that I'm set up on. You can probably see my tripod as I go past it. Right about there is where the scent is set up, where the curiosity scent is set up. Back behind me is a little dry creek, and all around for a good 200 yards or so is a very dense yopon thicket. And yopon is this stuff that I'm looking at right here. Excellent deer browse. It's an evergreen. The beauty of it is it also responds to fertilizer, so you can create your own little natural food plots. And if I have the privilege of hunting this property next year, in about January or February, I'll come in here with 13 and start doing individual plants. So one of the things that you can do, particularly if you're going to get to hunt the property year after year. Now, where the blind is set up, or going to be set up, most of our winds here throughout the year are southeast and easterly. So but the thing about it is, with using the Scent Guardian, I'll be very open with you, with TRHB Outdoors Scent Guardian, I'm not going to worry about what the wind is doing. I'll get that blind in here and start spraying it down, and I'll spray myself down every time I come in. And I've noticed that when I do that, I seem to disappear from deer and animals and other animals, I guess I should say. We're going to look around a little bit, and you can see I say it's a kind of a grassy area. I'm going to leave it very natural. I'm not going to do any cutting. I'll have to be very selective in where I take the shots. I'm probably going to be hunting with a Taurus handgun on out of this stand more than anything else, because here the longest shot's probably going to be about 50 yards. I mentioned earlier there were probably deer bedding in here, and you can see, look how the grass is pushed down in these areas. There's a good spot right here and there, and I noticed right back over here, look at this spot right here. See how the grass is all laid down? There's no doubt that there's been deer bedding right in here, and what a great spot right here. You can see where he's coming in from the backside, little trail coming out, and that's probably the way he goes back out again. And I say he because walking in here a while ago, I saw a couple of pretty nice bucks. Just looking around, I'd say this spot's been used by deer quite a bit as of late. Again, you can see how things are laid down from where they've been laying on the grass. So I'm going to have to slip in here really quietly when I come in the mornings to hunt, because I may be bedded up in here during that time frame. Got another bed right here. All this grass has been laid down by deer where they've been bedding. Well, that gives you kind of an idea as to what I'm doing and what I'm hoping to find later on this year. We left several bucks, as I mentioned, that were just about legal last year, and a legal buck here is one that's got a 13-inch inside spread and has 4 points on one side. I was able to harvest I didn't harvest, because he was a wild animal. So I took my first buck off this property, or on the adjoining property where I grew up, for a first buck in about 50 years. So I'm hoping that this year I will be able to take my second buck off some of the property that I hunted when I was just a little bitty kid. I used to come out here with my dad and hunt this property on the our arrangements with the landowner were is that we would help them work cattle and haul hay and those kind of things. In return, they would let us come out and hunt deer on their property. So I'm so thrilled, tickled, pleased, proud to be back on this property once again. And as the season progresses, or as we get into the season, we'll start doing a few more things from here and kind of give you an update periodically of what's going on. We'll check some trail camera pictures. We'll set up another deer blind or two that my son-in-law Lance Tyggart's going to hunt, and then also that my daughter Teresa Tyggart's going to hunt as well too, and see what we can come up with. We're about 2 months away from the season. Well, actually, we're a month away from bow season, and may come in here and hunt with a crossbow a little bit, and I know that Lance will be in here with a crossbow as well too. So hopefully we'll be able to bring you some pictures and film some of those hunts for you as well too. And appreciate you joining us here on A Sportsman's Life.
And a special thanks to these fine sponsors: Air Force Air Guns, B&B Charcoal, Dallas Safari Club, Hornaday, Pyramid Air, Taurus Firearms, Sightmark, Smokin' Tex, Snaplock Hunting Blinds, TRHP Outdoors, and Striper Express.